Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. In this video, we've got a story from the subreddit Relationships about a possible Bridezilla with an update, and then one from Malicious Compliance with a Karen failing. So if you want to go ahead and get started with the stories, just use the timestamps below the video. Now, let's get started with the first story. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Deleted. My 23 female friend, 22 female, just asked me to play the violin in her wedding. I do not and have never played the violin. Also, I think she might literally be going insane. Like, really. So, my friend from school asked me to be in her wedding over lunch today. I have known this girl for about 2 years, and because we have the same major, we are school friends. We partner up in classes, do projects together, etc. But I don't really know or hang out with her outside this setting. Anyways, she asked me to be in her wedding. I assumed as a bridesmaid, but I was wrong. She said she had had a dream of her perfect wedding, and it was so beautiful she woke up crying, wrote it all down, and cried for hours because it was just so beautiful and perfect. She even made some sketches and said this was a vision from God of her wedding, and she couldn't even explain the warmth and ecstatic love to me because she didn't have the words, but that she would do anything to capture it perfectly. She then likened herself to an artist with divine inspiration and went on for about 20 minutes about the details of her inspiration and how beautiful and uniting this wedding would be. That it would change lives and be so much more than a ceremony, and that the execution was so perfect it would be more of a visual statement, an artistic dedication to love that everyone would be a living part of. In this beautiful, perfect wedding, I am to the front left on the aisle, playing violin as her guests arrive, in a long white gown, feathered and beaded and soft, very romantic. I'll know it when I see it. I laughed and told her I've never played the violin before and as such may have a hard time performing for her guests. She told me that I had a year to learn and that it was extremely important to her. I looked at what I could of her beautiful wedding notes. They seemed really insane. Lots of stuff feverishly circled or written over and over like "inspect what you expect" over and over and all in white. Literally scribbled over the words, all in the margins, copied into big paragraphs. The part she showed me of my role just said, OP, violin, soft and complex, beautiful and intricate, a concerto, lots of detail, wow the guests. I don't know how to play the violin at all. I've literally never touched one. She sounded like she was on drugs talking about it. She was feverish and flitting from topic to topic and talking about how maybe I could compose something, but she wanted it to sound so intricate that no one would believe it was just one person playing it. It seems beyond normal bride stuff, and when I told her even if I did have a year to learn to play, it would be basic at best, she slammed her hand on the table and said stop, then went right back to her cheery, excited talk about her divine wedding. I very gently tried to refuse and told her that this wedding sounded really important and that I would be happy to try to find a professional to play for her, and she just said, no, it has to be you, I'm sure of it, and went right back to talking, as if I had suggested I wear a hat to the beach, just really casually dismissed. Then she dropped a bomb. Besides, I already bought your violin and it was almost $2,000. What? I don't know how to play. I told her she was being insane, but she just kept making no noises or putting up her hands or saying enough. Eventually, she just said the violin would be here in a few weeks and that I need to find someone that gives lessons and learn, and that she believes in me. She told me that worst case scenario, I get to learn a skill most people would love to learn, and that if I do well, I can have the violin as payment. I don't want a violin, I don't play. Then she left and here I am, dumbfounded. I can't exactly cut ties and run. It is summer now, but we have a class together currently and 3 classes together in the fall. I can only see her getting crazier about this. She is scaring me, and while she's always had a flair for the dramatics, she's never been this crazy before. I'm not really sure if this is just mega Bridezilla and she will get over it, or if I just pretend I don't know her, or if I should call a loony bin to come pick her up, or just take up the violin and hope whatever god of weddings visited her grants me magical powers. Wow, that does sound like off the reservation to me. I mean, it's okay to think that your wedding's gonna be awesome and beautiful and fantastic, but to think that your wedding is going to change lives? Come on, that's a bit of a stretch, right? But OP, from the way that you describe it, I'm not sure this is just Bridezilla behavior. It kinda sounds like something snapped inside your friend's head. The way she was talking about the divine inspiration about her wedding and the visuals and the sketches and all that stuff, and on top of that, she just went off and bought a $2,000 violin for you to play, and you don't even play, but it has to be you because that's who was playing the violin in her dream. That just doesn't sound healthy to me. What about you guys? What do you guys think is going on here? Let me know in the comment section what you would say to OP, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say. Derptron 5000 says, "Hey, this sounds a lot like a manic episode. A classic symptom is to take an interest like that to an extreme, and coupled with the euphoria, fast talking, magical thinking, and compulsive nature of her speech, it really reminds me of the mania I've encountered in my life. I will say it's impossible to diagnose this stuff over the internet, but read up on the symptoms and see what you think." The tough part is that if it's true, it's hard to do anything about it until it's extreme enough to warrant commitment. Possible harm to self or others, though it depends on where you live. Whatever you do, try not to tell her she's crazy or needs medication, as this will alienate her whether it's true or not. Anyway, I don't want to go too far down this road if I'm wrong, but feel free to ask more questions if not. Good luck. C Ash Bash Run says, "This sounds like a bipolar manic episode. Stressful events, e.g. planning a wedding, can trigger the first presentation of this disorder around this age. I would recommend you contacting a family member and expressing your concern for this person, and saying that you would not be contacting them if you were not so truly concerned for this person's well-being." Laughing Being says, "Sounds like she's having some kind of breakdown. Psychotic break is what came to me first. She's having grandiose thoughts, racing thoughts, breaks from reality, accepting you will be playing violin, magical thinking, compulsion, hypervigilant, classic bipolar and mania. Seems maybe the stress of her upcoming wedding is a trigger for this, increasing the stress. I wonder if her family sees it also." Okay, well, it sounds like the community seems to think that there's something going on with the friend. And it's not Bridezilla behavior, it's actually something that could be construed as mental illness. But of course, like that first commenter said, this is not something that should be diagnosed over the internet. The recommendations for OP are to try to contact a family member and warn them about this behavior. So now we're gonna move on with the update that I've curated with some responses from both the original post and the update in order to give it more context. Now let's continue with that. For those of you saying I should switch classes, that isn't possible. These are really specific senior level courses and it's my last year. If I don't get my fall classes done this fall, I don't graduate. There's usually just 1 or 2 sections of each class and I played hell getting everything to fit together as is. Also, for those asking, she is not rich, not that I know of. I can't believe she spent so much on a violin for someone who can't play. Even in a year's time, how the F can anyone play so well they'd fool people into thinking multiple people were playing? Is that even possible? I don't want to learn the violin. I could give a crap about it. I have very little free time, a pretty stressful life, and I'm a full-time student. I don't want to put the time in, especially for someone with some pretty crazy expectations. I don't think she is sane enough for me to take her up on the offer, and $2,000 on a violin seems exorbitant for a beginner anyways. Now on to the update. I don't know her family, so I sent a modified OP to her fiancé and added after. I'm really worried because this seems pretty mentally unstable, way beyond normal bright stuff. He has seen it, but he didn't respond. Then I got this reply on Facebook from her, not her fiance, at about 2 p.m. today. I didn't see it because she deleted me from her friends and it went to a different mailbox? Facebook is weird. Thanks so much for trying to tell my husband I'm crazy. Thank God he understands what it is like to love someone and what planning a wedding is all about. Excuse me that I have a dream I am passionate about. Trust me, if you ever get a ring with that attitude, you will understand too, but I doubt it. Nice trying to get between us, but guess what, sweetie? Nothing can tear us apart, least of all you. Ha 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 ha. You are clearly jealous, and that makes me feel really bad for you. Then, about an hour ago, I got a message from her fiance. A long message. The gist is that she went effing nuts on a florist because he couldn't do her entire wedding in Wisteria. The horror. Almost got arrested for making a scene in his store. He found out she has spent her financial aid student loan money for the second half of summer and the fall on random wedding stuff like my violin, and has been booking venue tours and tastings with ridiculous expensive prices. If anyone is familiar with Texas, she is looking at doing her wedding in a giant castle in that ritzy Lake Travis part of Austin. You know, by the huge multi-million-dollar mansions. So he told her about the need for a budget and being realistic, and she threw an epic effing fit. At this point, she left and went to her sister's house. I messaged him back saying that she may be bipolar and in a manic state, and to ask her sister to maybe get her to a doctor, but he was more upset and focused on being hurt at what she had said to him about the wedding than her. She threw a right little tantrum and accused us of sleeping together. I told him that, needless to say, I would not be playing violin at their wedding and that I was sorry for any trouble, but I really did think it was best he seek some mental health help for her. He said, "You made your point, you don't need to rub it in. I can take care of my family." I told him I understood and wished them the best, and I guess that is that. I didn't see her in class today though, and it looks like she won't be coming back for the fall unless she has a plan to get more money. Thank you for the help, everyone. I really did appreciate having a few hundred friends in this. Well, OP, you did what you could, and that's as far as you can go. You raised a flag to someone who is in a position to maybe help your, I would say, ex-friend by this point, so hopefully the fiancé does do something if he is still engaged to her. If not, then hopefully the family will realize that something is going on and will do something about it. Silver lining for you, I'd say, is that you don't have to learn to play the violin now for anybody's wedding. And on that note, we move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Citizen Alpha. Civilian dependent wife demands salute because of her husband's rank. There are a handful of rules to saluting in the American military. The when, why, and how are drilled into you from boot camp until the day you leave. Even the order in which the salutes are rendered has meaning. When it comes to vehicles, there are helpful insignia and stickers to indicate if it's an officer, such as a colored sticker located on the front windshield. My base was small enough where it was everyone's job at some point to do sentry duty at the front gate, which had housing for military families. Sentry duty was pretty basic. You'd stop every vehicle, check IDs, and then wave them through. If they were an officer, you'd see it coming with those colored stickers, and after identifying the identity of the officer, you'd salute and send them on their way. One day, while on duty, I approached a vehicle with an officer's sticker, and there was only the officer's wife driving in the vehicle. I returned her ID, wished her a nice day, and waved her through. Pausing with a stern look, she says, "Where's my salute, Petty Officer OP?" Now, Karen here was wife to a higher ranking officer and has clearly fallen under the impression people are saluting her somewhere along the way. Some of the junior enlisted might have been saluting her as they're pretty easy to bully and more prone to F-ups. I politely replied, "Ma'am, salutes are only rendered to commissioned officers." Angrily pointing her chubby little fingers at the front of her windshield towards her husband's officer's sticker, she says, "I have a sticker and you need to salute the sticker." Curtly, I continued, "I'm afraid that sticker is not an officer either." Frustrated, she pulled through and left my post. My cover guy, the guy keeping me safe with a big gun, and I watched her drive down the street and pull right into the administrative building with the top brass and huffed into the building as quickly as her soft, crappy body would take her. We exchanged a look between us with wry smiles, knowing exactly where this is probably going. Later that day, we get a new official base-wide mandate. From here forward, all enlisted will salute vehicle stickers of officers regardless of who's in the vehicle. Roger that. This is where the malicious compliance comes in. It's worth noting that when you salute an officer as enlisted, you do it first, and you hold that salute until you are saluted in return and they lower theirs. Only then do you lower your salute. It signals that you are saluting them and they're replying. Additionally, when saluting a group of officers, you generally direct your salute and greeting to the highest ranking individual. Now, as far as I know, this stupid sticker salute order has no accommodation for how a 2004 Toyota Camry fits into the officer's pecking order. Additionally, if the car is unoccupied, it's not like that sticker is removed. After that order came through, we all began saluting stickers. Personally, I direct my salute to the sticker. I would also prioritize sticker salutes over officers. Let me tell you, walking through parking lots was a blast as I saluted empty cars on my way to wherever. More and more people saw me doing it, and more people started doing it. Not long after, the order was publicly rescinded, which hilariously had the balancing effect of never rendering a salute to anyone but a clearly known officer, cementing Karen never getting her unearned salutes. Ah, fantastic OP, well done. Like you say, Karen's not getting her unearned salutes. You know what I do find kinda sad? Is that they bent over to Karen and her complaints about wearing her husband's rank. That sucks. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing, and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.